My wife cheated on me for nearly 4 years, then lied again during reconciliation. While I was talking to a lawyer, she was secretly meeting her affair partner. I'm going to leave out a lot of background information, but basically, my soon-to-be ex-wife had an affair that has lasted almost 4 years now. I've caught her multiple times, stressed how important no contact was, and we even separated and moved to opposite ends of the country for over a year. We recently reunited, and within a few months back together, I found Instagram messages from the affair partner. I turned this into a huge argument, but she swore it was just him trying to contact her, and she deletes his messages right after they send. We ended up going to marriage counseling together and thought things were going really well. We've been on several dates the last few months, and I was convinced that everything in the past could be left there and we could move forward. Last week, I got suspicious again and found an email chain where they both said they love and miss each other. She gave her affair partner her work schedule so he could come visit, and she said how she had a dream about them being together and having a normal life, but it seemed so far away. I immediately contacted a local attorney for a consultation during my lunch break. When I got home, she was supposedly out at lunch with friends, but 20 minutes earlier, she sent an email to the affair partner just saying, "I'm here." When she got home, I called her out on this, but she said she just wanted to meet him to let him know that they can't see each other anymore. I've heard variations of this a million times, and even if it's true, I can't stand by and let this keep happening. I'm just floored at the absurdity of it all. We're waiting to sell our assets because I don't want to have to fight over them in court. She still thinks this is going to work, but I'm just waiting for my house to get sold, documenting everything, working on myself, and trying to remain civil throughout this all, mostly for the sake of our kids. I finally see a light at the end of the tunnel here. It's faint, flickering, but it's there. A promise of peace after years of betrayal, lies, and heartbreak. The weight of my soon-to-be ex-wife's affair, a nearly 4-year saga that's torn through our marriage like a relentless storm, is starting to lift. Not because she's changed, not because she's finally chosen me, but because I'm choosing myself. I'm done waiting for her to see my worth, done hoping she'll cut ties with the man who's been a shadow in our lives for far too long. I'm ready to walk away, to build a life free of her deception, and that light is guiding me forward. The email I found last week was the final straw, the one that shattered any lingering illusions I had about saving our marriage. After months of marriage counseling, date nights, and what I thought was progress, there it was, a chain of messages between her and her affair partner, dripping with longing. I love you, I miss you, her work schedule sent so he could visit, her dream of a normal life with him. It wasn't just a betrayal, it was a gut punch, a reminder that she's never fully been mine, not since this started. And when I confronted her, her excuse, that she was meeting him to end things, was so familiar it was almost laughable. I've heard it a million times, each version slightly tweaked but always hollow. Even if it's true, it doesn't matter. The trust is gone, and I'm not fooling myself into believing it can be rebuilt. That night, after she came home from her supposed lunch with friends, I sat on the couch, my heart racing, my mind replaying every moment of the past 4 years. The first time I caught her, nearly 4 years ago, when I found flirty texts on her phone and felt my world tilt. The countless arguments, the tears, the promises she made to go no contact with him. The separation, when I moved across the country thinking distance would either heal us or break us for good. The reunion, when I let hope creep back in, believing we could start over. And now this, proof that she's never stopped, that she's been lying to me, to our kids, to herself. I looked at her, standing there with her excuses, and I didn't see the woman I married. I saw a stranger, someone who's chosen her affair over our family time and time again. I didn't yell this time. I didn't beg or plead. I just told her I was done, that I'd contacted an attorney, that we'd sell the house and part ways. She cried, said she didn't want to lose me, that she'd try harder, but I've heard it all before. Her words are like white noise now, meaningless against the reality of her actions. I'm not angry anymore, not like I used to be. I'm exhausted, yes, but I'm also resolute. I'm not fighting for someone who doesn't fight for me. I'm fighting for myself, for our kids, for a future where I don't have to question every word out of her mouth. The kids, our 2 daughters, 15 and 12, are my anchor. They've been through too much already, caught in the crossfire of our crumbling marriage. They don't know the full extent of their mother's affair, but they're smart. They've felt the tension, heard the hushed arguments, noticed the way I clench my jaw when she mentions work or friends. I've tried to shield them, to keep their world as stable as possible, but it's a losing battle. My oldest, Emma, asked me last month why we're selling the house, her eyes searching mine for answers I couldn't give. I told her we're starting fresh, that sometimes families need to change to grow. She nodded, but I could tell she didn't buy it. My youngest, Lily, is quieter, burying herself in books and music, but I see the hurt in her tight smiles. I'm doing this for them as much as for me. To show them that love shouldn't hurt like this, that they deserve better than a home built on lies. Selling the house is the practical next step, but it's also symbolic. It's the last tether tying me to her, to the life we built over 16 years of marriage. We bought this place 10 years ago, a sprawling 4-bedroom with a big backyard, perfect for barbecues and soccer games. It's where Emma took her first steps, where Lily learned to ride a bike, where I thought we'd grow old together. But it's also where I found those first texts, where we screamed at each other until our throats were raw, where I sat alone at night wondering how it all went wrong. I can't stay here, surrounded by ghosts of what was and what might have been. The real estate agent says it'll sell quickly, good schools, quiet neighborhood, updated kitchen. I'm hoping she's right. The sooner it's gone, the sooner I can close this chapter. In the meantime, I'm documenting everything, every email, every lie, every broken promise. I screenshot the email chain from last week, saved it to a folder on my laptop labeled evidence. I've got a timeline of her affair, pieced together from texts, call logs, and my own memories of her late nights at work. My attorney says it might not matter much in a no-fault divorce state, but I'm not taking chances. If she tries to fight me on custody or assets, I want proof of her infidelity, her recklessness, her disregard for our family. I'm not out for revenge, but I'm not letting her walk away with more than she deserves. She's already taken enough. Civility is my mantra right now, though it's not easy. She's still living in the house, sleeping in the guest room, and we're tiptoeing around each other like strangers. We talk about the kids' schedules, the house sale, the weather, anything but the affair. She tries to start deeper conversations sometimes, reminiscing about the good times or asking if I'm okay, but I shut it down. I can't let her in not even a little. Every time I soften, I remember her email, "I love you. I miss you." Those words weren't for me, and they never will be again. I keep my responses short, my tone neutral, for the kids' sake. They don't need to see us at war, not when they're already losing the only home they've known. Working on myself has been my lifeline. I started therapy a year ago, during our separation, and it's been a game changer. My therapist, a no-nonsense woman with a knack for cutting through my deflections, has helped me unpack the anger, the guilt, the questions that keep me up at night. Why didn't I see the signs sooner? Was I too focused on work, too complacent in our marriage? Did I push her away? She's helped me see that her affair wasn't about me, it was about her, her insecurities, her need for validation. I was a good husband, not perfect, but good. I provided, I loved, I showed up. If that wasn't enough for her, that's her failing, not mine. I've also been hitting the gym, something I neglected during the chaos of the past few years. There's something cathartic about lifting weights, feeling my body grow stronger as my heart heals. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, just a healthier version of myself, someone who can chase after Lily on the soccer field or carry Emma's college boxes without wheezing. I've picked up running too, early mornings when the world is quiet, and the only sound is my breath and the crunch of gravel under my shoes. It's meditative, a way to clear the fog of betrayal and focus on what's ahead. The kids and I have been spending more quality time together, rebuilding what the affair fractured. Emma's into photography, so we've been taking weekend drives to capture sunsets and old barns. She's got an eye for it, and seeing her smile behind the lens is worth every mile. Lily's obsessed with baking, so we've turned Sunday afternoons into our great bake-off, making everything from cupcakes to sourdough. We laugh, we make messes, we eat too much sugar. It's not just about the activities, it's about showing them I'm here, fully present, no matter what their mom does. I want them to know they're enough, that they don't have to chase love like she did. I've been thinking a lot about what went wrong in our marriage. Not to torture myself, but to learn. We were happy once, or at least I thought we were. We met in college, young and idealistic, and built a life together, career, kids, house, the whole American dream. But somewhere along the way, we stopped talking, really talking. I was busy climbing the corporate ladder, she was immersed in motherhood, and we let the distance grow. I didn't notice her pulling away, didn't see the loneliness in her eyes. I'm not excusing her affair, nothing justifies that. But I see now how we both played a role in the cracks that formed. I've learned I need to be more present, more curious, more intentional with the people I love. If I ever marry again, I'll carry that lesson with me. Dating is the furthest thing from my mind right now, but I think about it sometimes, late at night when the house is quiet. I'm 42, not too old to start over, but the idea of trusting someone new feels like climbing Everest. I imagine meeting someone, falling in love, and then finding another email, another secret. My therapist says trust will come with time, that I'll learn to spot the red flags I missed before. I hope she's right. For now, I'm focusing on being a good dad, a good man, someone my daughters can be proud of. If love comes later, it'll have to be with someone who chooses me every day, no exceptions. I've been talking to my attorney regularly, mapping out the divorce. We're waiting for the house to sell before filing, to avoid a messy fight over assets. I want 50 to 50% custody of the kids, and I'm prepared to fight for it if she pushes back. She's been cooperative so far, maybe out of guilt, but I don't trust her to stay that way. I'm also setting up a financial plan, making sure I'm covered post-divorce. I've spent years providing for her, and I'm not letting her walk away with more than her share. It's not about spite. It's about fairness, about protecting my future and my kids. She's still in denial, I think. She talks about fixing things, about how we can still be a family, but it's like she's living in a parallel universe. She doesn't see the damage she's done, or maybe she does and can't face it. I don't know if she's still in contact with him, and I've stopped caring. I used to obsess over their messages, their meetups, trying to understand why she chose him. Was he funnier, more attentive, better in bed? But those questions are a trap, a way to keep me stuck in her betrayal. He's not the point, she is. Her choices, her lies, her refusal to let him go. That's what broke us, and I'm not carrying that weight anymore. I've been finding small moments of joy, proof that life goes on. A colleague invited me to a trivia night last week, and I went laughing. For the first time in months. I'm planning a camping trip with the kids next month, just the three of us, no distractions. I've even started journaling, something I used to mock but now find grounding. I write about the affair, the pain, but also the hope, the strength I'm discovering in myself. I'm not the man I was 4 years ago, broken and begging her to stay. I'm someone new, someone who knows his worth and isn't afraid to walk away. The light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter. It's not just the house sale or the divorce papers, it's the life I'm building beyond them. A life where I'm not second-guessing every email, not bracing for the next betrayal. A life where my daughters see a father who stood up for himself, who showed them what self-respect looks like. I'm not there yet, but I'm close. I can feel it in the way I carry myself, the way I smile at Emma's photos or laugh at Lily's baking disasters. I'm healing, slowly but surely, and that's enough for now. She can have her affair, her dreams of a normal life with him. I'm done trying to save her from herself. I'm saving me, and I'm doing it for the 2 girls who call me dad, for the man I see in the mirror, for the future I deserve. The tunnel's long, but I'm walking toward the light, and I'm not looking back. On to the next story. My cheating ex-wife wants her wedding band back. My wife of 26 years cheated on me with an old flame. She was not unhappy with her marriage. She just thought that she would be happier with her affair partner, who she had wanted to be with. Years ago, but circumstances, he was married with young children at the time, kept him from leaving his family before she even knew me. When she left me, she kept the engagement ring, the 25-year anniversary ring I gave her while she was having the affair, and all the other jewelry that I had given her over the years. She also kept some expensive Hermes scarves I gave her for her 24th anniversary and for her birthday, while she was also actively cheating. When she left, as I noted, she left behind the wedding band but kept everything else. When I saw her at Christmas with her adult children 6 months after she left, she was still wearing the engagement ring, the 25th anniversary ring, and everything else I mentioned. 6 months after that, she asked me if I would send her the wedding band, at which time I told her no. I was still angry about the fact that not only did she have the affair, she took the other gifts while she was cheating, and to this day denies that she was cheating during both her anniversaries. Even when I have proof from photos she accidentally left on one of my thumb drives. My reason for keeping the ring was that she crapped on our marriage and doesn't deserve to keep the ring. Plus, she accepted very nice gifts for our anniversaries while she was cheating, and clearly has no intention of giving those back to me or to our daughters. I know that if I give the wedding band to her, she won't sell it, she will just keep it in a drawer. Maybe she will wear it, which is weird. But then again, she continued to wear the wedding anniversary ring after she left me and was living with her affair partner. Note that the ring is not very valuable, it is just a simple gold wedding band, no stone like in the engagement ring, which she has. It is 2 years later now, and I'm wondering if I should return the ring. I will never use it, my children don't want it. I know that it is very much like me to just let things go as I move on with my life, so the only reason to keep it is to keep her from having it, because I really do think that she doesn't deserve to have it as a keepsake from our many happy years together. On the other hand, I actually really don't care, so now I think I'm being petty. What do you all think and why? P.S. If I give her back the ring, I might just give her both her wedding ring and mine. She seems to care more about having them than I do. I have since moved on and have a wonderful new partner. Her name is Laura, and she's everything I didn't know I needed after the wreckage of my 26-year marriage. She's kind, grounded, with a laugh that pulls me out of my darkest moments, and a way of seeing the world that makes me want to be a better man. We met a year ago at a community book club of all places, bonding over a shared love of historical fiction and a mutual disdain for poorly written endings. She's a high school history teacher, divorced herself, with a grown son and a no-nonsense approach to life that feels like a breath of fresh air after years of navigating my ex-wife's deceit. With Laura, there's no pretense, no hidden agendas, just honesty and a quiet strength that's helping me rebuild what was broken. But even with Laura by my side, the shadow of my ex-wife's betrayal lingers, not as a wound but as a nagging question. What do I do with this damn wedding band? It's been 2 years since she asked for it back. 2 years since I told her no. My anger still raw from the affair that tore our life apart. The ring sits in a small velvet box in my dresser drawer, alongside my own wedding band, both untouched, gathering dust. It's not about the money, it's a simple gold band, no stones, no real value except the weight of 26 years of memories, some beautiful, most now tainted. Every few months I open the drawer, see the box, and wonder if I'm holding on to it out of principle or pettiness. Laura thinks I should let it go, not for my ex's sake but for mine. She might be right, but I'm still wrestling with it. The affair itself is a story I've told myself 1,000 times, each retelling stripping away a little more of the shock until it's just facts, cold and clear. My ex-wife Ellen didn't cheat because she was unhappy with me. She told me as much in those early agonizing conversations after she left. She loved our life, our 3 daughters, our comfortable home, the stability I'd worked so hard to provide. But she loved him more, or at least the idea of him. He was her what-if, an old flame from her 20s, a man she'd pined for when he was married with young kids, unavailable until years later when their paths crossed again. She didn't leave me because I failed her, she left because she thought he'd make her happier. That's the part that stings, not that I wasn't enough, but that she was willing to throw it all away for a fantasy. I found out about the affair 3 years ago when our youngest daughter, Mia, was home from college and noticed her mom acting strange. Secretive phone calls, late-night texting, a new passcode on her phone. Mia mentioned it to me, half joking, but it planted a seed. I started paying attention, noticing the way Ellen would light up at her phone, the way she'd linger after book club or girls' night. When I confronted her, she denied it at first, but the truth came out in pieces. She'd reconnected with him online, then met up in person, and what started as nostalgia turned into a full-blown affair. The worst part? She was wearing the 25th anniversary ring I'd given her, a delicate band with tiny sapphires, a symbol of our enduring love, while she was sneaking off to meet him. She accepted it with a smile, knowing she was betraying me, and that hypocrisy still burns. When she left, she took everything but the wedding band. The engagement ring, a modest diamond I'd saved for months to buy when I was 25, stayed on her finger. The anniversary ring, the Hermes scarves I'd gifted her for her 24th anniversary and her birthday, the necklaces and earrings from years of Christmases and milestones, all went with her. I didn't fight her on it. I was too stunned, too focused on keeping our daughters' lives intact. But when I saw her at Christmas 6 months later, still wearing the engagement and anniversary rings while living with him, it felt like a fresh wound. She wasn't just keeping the jewelry, she was clinging to the life we'd had, or at least the parts that suited her narrative. It was then I decided the wedding band was mine to keep. She didn't get to have it all. Her request for the ring came a year after she left, a casual email that caught me off guard. She said it was sentimental, that it completed the set with her engagement ring, that she wanted it for closure. I laughed out loud, alone in my office, at the audacity. Closure? She'd crapped on our marriage, lied about the affair even when I had proof, photos she'd left on a thumb drive, her and him at a coffee shop. His arm around her, her smile brighter than I'd seen in years. She denied the timeline, swore the affair started after the anniversary gifts. But the photos told a different story. I wrote back, short and sharp, no, you don't deserve it. She didn't push, didn't reply, and I thought that was the end of it. Now, 2 years later, I'm in a different place. Laura has changed everything. She's not just a partner, she's a reminder that love can be simple, honest, reciprocal. We spend weekends hiking, cooking together, or just talking, really talking about our fears, our dreams, our pasts. She's been through her own betrayal, a husband who left her for a coworker, and she gets it, the way trust takes time to rebuild. We're not rushing things, no talk of marriage, no blending families yet, but we're building something real. She's met my daughters, and they adore her, especially Mia, who says Laura's chill in a way Mom never was. That's enough for now, more than enough. But the ring question keeps resurfacing, not because Ellen's asking again, she hasn't, but because I'm asking myself. Holding on to it feels like holding on to the anger, the hurt, the man I was when she left. I don't want to be that man anymore. Laura's perspective has been a quiet influence. She doesn't push, But she said more than once that letting go of the ring might be a way to let go of Ellen's hold on me. "It's just a piece of metal," she said one night, curled up on my couch with a glass of wine. "It only means what you let it mean." She's right, but it's not that simple. The ring isn't just metal, it's a symbol of the vows she broke, the years I gave her, the family we built and lost. I've talked to my daughters about it, trying to gauge their feelings. Claire, our oldest at 28, is pragmatic. "Give it to her, Dad," she said over coffee last month. "It's not worth the mental space." Sophie, 25, is more sentimental, torn because the ring represents her childhood, our family before it fractured. Mia, 22, is the most adamant. She doesn't deserve it. She kept everything else. They all agree on one thing. They don't want the ring themselves. It's tainted, a relic of a marriage that ended in betrayal. I get it. I feel the same way about my own band, which sits next to hers in the box. I'll never wear it again, and neither will they. I've considered other options. Selling it, melting it down, donating it, anything to get it out of my life without handing it to her. But selling feels wrong. It's not about the money, and the band's value is negligible anyway. Melting it into something new, a pendant for the girls maybe, feels like too much effort. Too much emotional investment in a thing I want to forget. Donating it to a charity shop or a jeweler's scrap pile is an option, but it still feels like giving it away to a stranger, which doesn't sit right. I even thought about throwing it into the ocean, a dramatic gesture I'd probably regret the moment it sank. The truth is, none of these feel like closure. They just feel like different ways of avoiding the real question. Do I give it to her, or do I keep it out of spite? Spite is a powerful motivator, and I won't lie, I've leaned into it. When I first said no, it was because I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done. She didn't get to walk away with all the trappings of our marriage while pretending she hadn't betrayed me. Keeping the ring was my way of saying, you don't get to rewrite our story. But 2 years later, with Laura's hand in mine and a life that's starting to feel whole again, I'm questioning whether that's still worth it. Holding on to the ring doesn't hurt her. She's moved on, living with her affair partner, probably wearing the engagement ring and anniversary band without a second thought. It's hurting me, keeping me tethered to a past I'm ready to release. I've been reflecting on what the ring represents now. For years, it was a symbol of love, commitment, the life we built together. We were happy once. Road trips with the girls, late-night talks in the kitchen, the way she'd tease me about my terrible dancing. Those memories are real, and the ring held them. But it also holds the betrayal, the lies, the way she accepted my gifts while planning a life with someone else. Giving it back feels like letting her claim the good without acknowledging the bad. Keeping it feels like letting the bad define me. Neither option is perfect, but I'm leaning toward letting it go, not because she deserves it, but because I deserve to be free. Laura and I talked about it again last week, over dinner at our favorite Italian place. I told her I was thinking about sending both rings, hers and mine, to Ellen, just to be done with it. She nodded, her eyes steady. "If you're ready, do it. But do it for you, not her." That stuck with me. I don't want to make decisions based on Ellen anymore, not even to spite her. I want to make them for me, for the man I'm becoming, for the life I'm building with Laura and my daughters. Sending the rings could be a final act of release, a way to say, this isn't my story anymore. I've drafted an email to Ellen in my head, short and to the point, I'm sending the rings. They don't mean anything to me anymore. Don't contact me. I'd box them up, ship them with no return address, and let that be the end. No fanfare, no explanation, just closure. I haven't decided yet, but the idea feels right, like shedding a skin I've outgrown. My daughters would probably approve, especially Claire, who's always been the practical one. Mia might bristle, but she'd come around. Laura would support me either way, and that's a gift, knowing I have someone who's in my corner, no strings attached. The rest of my life is falling into place. Laura and I are planning a trip next summer, maybe to Italy, where we can wander cobblestone streets and eat gelato until we're sick. My daughters are thriving. Claire's engaged, Sophie's starting a new job, Mia's finishing her degree. I'm semi-retired now, working part-time as a consultant, which gives me time to volunteer at a local youth center, mentoring kids who remind me of my girls at that age. I'm healthier than I've been in years, thanks to regular hikes and Laura's insistence on no more frozen pizzas. I'm not perfect, but I'm good, better than I thought I could be after Ellen left. The rings are the last piece of the puzzle, the final tether to a past I'm ready to leave behind. I don't need them to prove I was a good husband, a good father. I don't need them to remind Ellen of what she lost. I have Laura's laughter, my daughter's love, a life that's mine again. Maybe I'll send the rings, maybe I won't, but either way, I'm moving forward. The anger's fading, the hurt's a dull ache, and the future's wide open. That's more than enough. On to the next story. I have a question for all the wayward spouses in this subreddit. One of the most frequent excuses I read about and also personally hear from my own wayward spouse when asked for vital information regarding an incident of their affair is that they can't remember. How likely is it that they are telling the truth? Mr. Big Bull 01 chimes in, yes it is. They do remember. The thing is, they know they're wrong, so if you ask them anything about it, they're reminded of how bad a person they are over and over again. They don't want to be the bad person, so they tell you they do not remember in hopes you would stop asking and reminding them about it. Fifi Twerp says, more like they want to forget, and maybe over time they will. Luns 12 chimes in, they want to forget, but their greatest accomplishment is making up so many excuses or stories that their mental gymnastics eventually become the truth in their mind, and they actually wholeheartedly believe it now. They aren't living a lie anymore in their mind. They truly have replaced their new narrative with what they actually did and can no longer be the bad person. And now you're the a-hole for accusing them of the thing they did. My ex was a master class at this, and I'd never encountered anyone with NPD before. DPM 38 chimes in. It's easy to forget than face the truth. Don't cheat, just tell us you've had enough. It would be a lot more mature and easier for everyone. Kristen adds, they remember every detail in their personal quiet moments. Adorable Peace 9668 says, to any wayward spouse reading this, please tell the complete truth. The betrayed spouse already knows the worst, that it actually happened. Nothing will hurt more. As much as the details will hurt, they will help the healing, as your betrayed spouse will no longer imagine what they know. The details will not break you apart. I've been waiting 20 years for the details, but only have my mind movies instead of peace. I have sadness. Chrono Kiro has an extensive thought. First, a disclaimer. None of that which I'm going to share is an attempt to excuse the lying and memory loss of an affair, but it does attempt to explain it. There is no excuse for cheating, regardless of the fact that it won't change the outcome. So far, we all want to know why Putin is invading Ukraine just so. We want explanations of why cheaters do what they do and say what they say. For context, I am a reconciling wayward, 3 years from D-Day 1 and 2 years out from D-Day 2. I am an extremely lucky person that my betrayed spouse chose to reconcile, and I work hard to earn that as much as I can, knowing that I never truly will. Concerning the topic, is the memory loss claimed by a wayward BS? My response, resulting from my own experience, so it may not fit all waywards, is that it is both absolute BS and very much true. The affair fog is real for most waywards. It certainly was for me. It was a very confusing place to be since it is difficult to tell what's up from down, left from right. When waywards first enter the affair fog, they do so with lies, and this is how lying, being integral to an affair, is going to create the memory loss or fuzziness cited by many waywards. The lies begin very small and begin with lying to themselves, myself, before even lying to their spouses. They are simple at first. It's okay to message with an affair partner this much. We're just friends. An affair partner is not flirting with me. They know I'm married, so it's not flirting. I'm not attracted to an affair partner. They just make me feel good. Then they escalate from there, and a wayward is quickly lost in the fog and creates at least two people within themselves by compartmentalizing. This is the way it worked for me. Lies such as, well, I'm not getting my needs met at home, so it's okay to get a hug from an affair partner. I'm feeling emotionally abused by my betrayed spouse, so it's okay to feel comfortable and safe with your affair partner. Notice how these lies are all inward at the moment. They quickly become outward lies when a wayward has to lie to others, namely their betrayed spouse, in order to protect this inward world they're creating. They further compartmentalize. Waywards tell themselves when thinking about the things they are doing with the affair partner, not necessarily overtly, well, that's not me, that person is not me, I didn't do those things. Rationalizations soon follow. Aren't I deserving of this? Aren't I deserving of feeling good like this? Maybe this is how it has to be in order to get my needs met. That last lie, in reality, is a form of denial and cowardice for avoiding doing the work it takes to both ask for and get our needs met at home. Often, and this was the case for me, my needs were not being met because I wouldn't even acknowledge them to myself, so how could I tell my betrayed spouse about them? This created a paradox where I wouldn't get my needs met by my spouse because I didn't communicate those needs, and then I blamed my spouse for it unjustifiably, which led to building resentment and the foundation for the lies that began my affair. Work is what it takes in a real marriage to make it work, to get our needs met, and many waywards, myself included, shy away from that work. So, having accepted the need for these two selves, time with the affair partner becomes a fantasy. It becomes unreal. There's an unreality to it. It all becomes part of the separated headspace. When waywards are with their betrayed spouse, any actions with an affair partner are denied as fantasy. When waywards are with their affair partner, the guilt or shame they should feel is assigned to the fantasy headspace. It's stuffed down somewhere. These two spaces talk less and less until it's difficult for one to even know the other really exists, and both become fantasy. because the wayward believes they're both happily married and doing nothing wrong while also getting to enjoy their time with the affair partner. In our heads, neither is real and neither is unreal. What happens is that when the affair comes to light, either through disclosure or through discovery, all of a sudden, both or many of the compartmentalized selves are all up on stage with one another, and the house lights are up. No longer is each one given the spotlight one at a time. They can see one another in all their horrifying realness, and it is life-shattering in a way. The curtain is lifted, and a wayward is looking around, seeing all these different versions of themselves, and is not quite sure which one is real. The truth is, they are all real, but each one wants to deny the other, and wishes to maintain that the others are not real. This leaves a wayward with two real options: face the reality or destroy the house lights. Those who choose to face the music have a lot of work ahead of them in the midst of getting out of the affair fog, which is extremely difficult to do for most people, since it involves confronting all of the pain that they've caused another human being, not just another human being, but the person with whom they believe to value more than themselves. In dealing with that immense guilt and shame, it's hard to then go in and shine a light on the pieces we tried so hard for so long to hide from ourselves, the memories lost. It's hard to recognize that there is this inherent mechanism to compartmentalization that acts to shut off the light if any of it becomes too real. It requires a lot of work and effort to shine a light on those memories, but a wayward who is willing to work hard, one who actually does care, who wants to be a better person, will work until those lights come on. It takes time, and in that time, the answer for when a wayward can't remember something is to actually say they can't remember it, because they will have to work to overcome the denial mechanism. When exiting the affair fog, a wayward may find it difficult to access a memory of a specific detail. They look around on the stage, see a bunch of strangers, all of whom are themselves, all of whom have lied to one another, and ask for some truth, and that truth may or may not be forthcoming. They've buried it deep inside themselves. However, those memories can be discovered, can be disclosed, can be arranged, and is all part of the process of fixing oneself. In fixing oneself, it is required of a wayward to shine a light on the darkness of those buried memories, but a wayward in recovery can access them. So, I say that a claim of memory loss is BS, and that they do have the memories of the things they have done. It's also not BS in the sense that likely they are still stuck in the affair fog and are unable to turn on the lights to those memories, and be able to disclose them, and not even being aware of that yet, have no good response other than, "I don't remember, I forgot." This is all to say that those dismissive types of responses should not be permanent for a wayward trying to fix themselves or wanting to be part of reconciliation efforts. Sometimes that fixing can happen with the betrayed spouse, and if it does, they are a lucky person indeed. Sometimes it never happens at all. They go on to cheat again and again and again. I hope this has been helpful to either the original poster, betrayed spouses, and even waywards who are searching for the tools to turn on the light. It certainly has been what I have come to understand about myself as I have tried to piece out and shine the light on all the things I did during my affair in order to bring as much honesty to both myself and my betrayed spouse, whom I am lucky enough to still have in my life.